Hello, today I'm going to show you how to change a wick on a kerosene heater. This happens to be a Kerosene Omni 85. This is no longer in production, and it's the first time I'm changing the wick on this because this kerosene heater was given to me. Now, if you're not sure if your wick has to be replaced, the telltale signs are that it's hard to light, it may give off smoke or fumes, and it doesn't give off enough heat and the flame isn't high enough, like this. Before changing the wick, this was the flame at the highest it can go. Now the flame should be between a ½ inch and an inch over that cup in the middle. I'm doing this according to the instructions. What it tells you to do first is to release the safety. It tells you to keep your hands away and you reach under. There's a lever there, you hit that, and this lever slides all the way over. Next, there's these screws all the way, there's these 3 screws that hold the cover on. So we remove these, and the directions warn about not using a screwdriver to avoid doing any damage. Now, these wicks can also be cleaned, and I have a video posted up above where I show how to clean this wick. You lift this up. Now this was released. The directions say you tilt it, pull this, and it should come right off. And it's not happening. Oh. Okay. Now take this off. There we go. Put this down where it's not going to fall. Okay. Let me get this camera in a little tighter. Now we have these other screws. I believe it said 3 of these around that have to come out. There's one here. Yeah, John, you can get this one. Right there. I got my helper helping me today. Keep them up here so we don't lose them. Like that. I got that one. The directions warn you to keep your hands away from the shutter, so you don't get cut. And it says to just pull it straight out. There we go. Put that off to the side. Now we have these thumb screws. Go ahead, John, you get the one back there. Oh, before you start this, it advises to burn the wick dry. That's so when you're taking it out, it's not full of kerosene. If you have kerosene in there, you could dump it out and burn the wick dry that way to save some time. Now we pull it. Oh, I missed one?
No, you didn't miss one. You need to take these off.
There we go.
No.
It comes right out. Now, I burnt this wick dry, so I thought. I burned it till it stopped, and look, you still have kerosene dripping out of it. All right? And I just let this thing burn. It burned until it stopped. A note, when you let this burn dry, you might want to keep it by a back door where you can open the door. You don't want it in a drafty spot because it'll blow out, but it does give off some fumes when it burns itself dry. Just squeezing this out. Johnny, could you go get me a plastic bag?
Okay.
Okay, and just pull straight up.
There's a faster way.
Okay.
I got it here once so you could see.
Okay. Let me have that cardboard over there, John, please.
Okay. Here's the cardboard.
And can I have paper towels?
I need to get a paper towel.
Let me get it for you. Let me get. Watch you don't step on that. It's still recording. Now, before I take this wick apart, I went to a website I'll post down below. Very helpful in telling you what wicks you need for what heaters. I just want to make sure this looks similar to what I have before I take it apart, because right now it does work. Doesn't work efficiently, but it works. So before I go pulling it out, I want to make sure this one fits. Normally in my videos, I post a link to Amazon where you can find the parts that I'm using. But I found that Home Depot and Lowe's sells this wick for less money than Amazon does. So I'm not posting that link to Amazon. Home Depot, when I went there, they didn't have it in stock. They said they could get it. It'd take 2 days. And Lowe's happened to have it in stock. And it was about $6 less at Home Depot and Lowe's. They were the same price. Okay, this looks like a fit. So now I'm just going to get this. I'm going to take this out and clean it. And I'm going to show you how to remove that wick. I thought this wick would be bone dry because I did let it burn until it stopped burning. This seal over here, you want to take this off. Sometimes the seal, the directions say it'll stay on the heater itself. You pull it off because you want to put it back on here when you're done. Fold this in. There's a little, if the camera could pick this up, there's a little claws in here. That's what holds the wick in. Some of these wicks have pins. This particular wick doesn't. If you have this model and you have a wick with pins, you have the wrong wick. Okay, and you can see what holds it in. See these holes in this leather? Now, if the camera's picking this up, you can see this is pretty tarred up over here. That's why it's not burning efficiently. Put that in the bag, wipe my hands. This is a new wick. Now this is a little different. The original one was cut up like this. It had 1, 2. Now this isn't the original. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because in the directions it says make sure the 3 slits are on the bottom. This has 4. So this was changed at least once. I don't see a brand name on the old one. New one here made in China. According to the directions, this knob has to be turned counterclockwise. That's bringing the wig down. And then you turn this over. Push this down into this bottom line. You know, lines up with the edge. You don't want to press it in yet because you want to make sure you have it right. A little tricky. I have to move this over. This wick feels like it's a little too wide. Holding it, it's not going flush. I had to pull this out of the view of the camera for me to have a better grip on it here. I'm reaching over the camera to work on this. This one's a little too big, I think, John.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Not by much. Made in China. Maybe that's why it was less money at Home Depot, because it was made in China. The other one was made in Italy. Might be more of a direct fit. I'm getting a fold in the wick on the inside, and I'm trying to straighten it out because it has to be flush so it goes up and down without any issue. Okay, I had a little fun getting this in. Now, once it's in it, the directions say that you should measure at least in 3 spots all the way around. This wick should be 1/4 inch above the shoulder. This is a little high here. Now, I tried it on, everything fit. One thing I did notice, the other one had slits on the bottom. I was going to cut this, but I looked at the directions in the owner's manual and the directions that came with the wick. It didn't say anything about cutting this, so I'm going to leave it as is and see how it works. You have to turn this upside down, and you have to put this retainer back on. The direction said that sometimes this retainer will stick on the unit itself. Just pull it off and put it on this way. Okay, you can see in here it's not sticking to those little pins in there, those little teat, whatever you want to call them. That's some pretty hard on it. Okay, now we got it in.
time for the big boy.
Okay, get the unit back up. You want to make sure that this wick... Hey, hold this camera, John.
Okay.
Okay, make sure it's right in here, right? You got it?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that this wick is even all the way around. I think it's easier to keep it all the way up. You go this direction with it. Is it in there? It's a snug fit. Just make sure that this wick is down and it's not bunched up. Roll it around. You want this stem for the lever here to go in this notch. You have these little ties. Make sure they're out of your way. There we go. Turn these around. Put the little wing nuts back on. If yours is full of soot, you may want to do this outside or in the garage. At the very least, have something underneath. Okay, don't step on that. You bring the camera back. Okay.
You missed one.
Yep, I missed one right there.
Those ones have to be really tight.
Now these were on fairly tight. And that would make sense. It's your fuel right under here. When I cleaned this up, some of what you see on here is rust. Some of it was just a little too hard to get off. And I used dish detergent. You want to be careful. You don't want to get any water in that fuel tank, because then you'll be smoking again. With a new wick or the old one, it'll still smoke. Okay, once you get these snug down, now we got to get this back on. All right. We have it. You can see up here, it's not going to fit. So what you have to do is to pull the lever to open up the shutter. Keep your fingers out of here. And you have to do it on an angle to get it in. Okay, now she's in.
Now that's puppy.
Now we have these smaller thumb screws, 3 of them. To hold this in. Go like this. Just like this. To just keep it from shaking, okay? Okay, I got my cameraman Johnny helping me out here. In the back. No. Just keep the camera where it was. And this other one back here. This is easier than it looks. Just trying to get the camera, to get a decent shot with the camera here, sometimes takes a little bit.
Okay.
Right, like that. Got it?
Yeah.
Now with this open, you want to make sure that the wick goes all the way down and it comes all the way up without binding. Okay, we're good in that area. I will put the top back on. Oh, John, stop touching things there.
It's black. It's yellow.
Okay. We make sure that the automatic shutter works. Okay, that's working. Now I'm just going to put these 3 thumb screws in. The manual says to wait 30 minutes after you fuel this when you put a new wick in or you burn it dry. The directions on the wick say to let it soak for 60 minutes before you light it, not to burn the wick out. So I'm going to put fresh fuel in here. I'm going to wait 60 minutes. We'll light it up and we'll see what we have. Be back in 60. Okay, here comes the moment of truth. Now, the batteries on this are dead, so I have to use the lighter. Bring the wick up. Let's see if it actually lights. There we go. Now, I don't know if you now see the smoke coming right out. When you first slide it and you're holding up this way, she smokes up. First couple of seconds it'll smoke. Now before, the flame wasn't anywhere near that. The video of the, I'm gonna bring back the video of it burning with the old wick. If you're not familiar with these, you let them burn for a while. And when the flame comes up, the directions say the flame should be 1 inch to 1/2 inch above this in the middle. Right now it's just starting, but I can see a big difference already. Before, there was nothing. That flame isn't right. It's just me opening this up on the bottom. The flame hits the right height. There isn't any increase in the heat or lowering the heat. It's getting the right flame to produce the heat that you need. So if it gets too warm in the room, you just shut it off. So for now, we're going to let this get to its peak. It's starting to come up. This should take about 10 minutes. This is normal. This is the flame before changing the wick at the highest it can go. Okay, here we go. This is how it burns with the new wick. You can see the flame is about 1 inch high all the way around, and this is how it should be burning. And that's a wrap. If you have any tips or comments or questions, post them down below. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, give it a like. Be sure to share it with someone else. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. And not to miss the videos as I upload them, hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay warm and stay safe.